Buddy. My name's Token D Rock here with another stream. Hopefully, all of you are having a wonderful day. It is Monday, December 12th, 9:20 a.m. Central Standard Time. Crypto market cap sitting at $843 billion. Bitcoin dominance sitting at 38.9%. ETH dominance sitting at 18.2%. Bitcoin holding just above 17K. ETH right above 1250. Binance coin right around 276. Dogecoin 8.9 cents roughly. Cardano right around 30.5 cents. Matic right around 88.5 cents. Polkadot 514. Chainlink 662. Cosmos 956. Taking a look at the Dow Jones, it does seem like for the day we may have found some support briefly ahead of the CPI numbers coming out tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. We will cover that in tomorrow's stream, so stay tuned for that. Taking a look at the 1 hour chart for Bitcoin, if we do zoom out, we can see potentially a large descending triangle forming on the hourly. Now, the basis of this triangle was formed roughly about 4 to 5 weeks ago, back around the whole FTX collapse. That is when we saw Bitcoin go as low as roughly 15,500. Right now, we are obviously kind of bonking our heads against this trend line downwards. Again, will we see potentially a deviation to the upside, essentially a bull trap, and then ultimately bears drag the price back down to maybe like this line of support or maybe even lower? Time will tell. Again, with the CPI numbers coming out tomorrow, we should have a little bit more clarity as to where the market should be headed, but I think we are more or less still in a downtrend. Taking a look at the hourly, we can see that we do indeed keep bonking our head against this line right around 17,030, 17,040. Bulls need to clear this level before heading higher to avoid more downside pressure. Again, if this doesn't succeed, if the bulls can't rally to the upside, we will see Bitcoin retest these lower highs or these other lines of support. One at like 16,900, another right around 16,700. Taking a look at the daily chart, again, things aren't looking too great for Bitcoin. Hasn't really stayed above this line of support right around 75% down from its all-time high. Headed over to the DXY, we can see that the dollar seems to have started to go upwards. If this goes up significantly, we can expect stocks and crypto to get smashed as a result. If this goes downwards, we will see the inverse. So we will see stocks and crypto rally. It's simple as that. Headed to Twitter for some news, crypto news that is. Altcoin Daily asks, are you willing to downgrade your lifestyle for a year or two to have a lifestyle you'd want forever? That's the real question. Are you willing to make the sacrifices today, sell off things you're not using to then you know, put into Bitcoin or other digital assets like Ethereum, Polygon, etc.? Personally, I've been doing this year. Granted, it was to cover for some bills, but I did buy some crypto with the belongings that I sold off that I was no longer using. Recycling the worth of Bitcoin, mining to grow tulips, again, killing two birds with one stone, kind of destroys the whole narrative that Bitcoin is horrible for the environment. If the miner, besides using electricity to mine Bitcoin, can then use the heat emitted from said Bitcoin miner to grow tulips. I doubt this one thing is heating up this whole room, but if so, that's pretty damn crazy. Either way, kind of destroys the whole narrative that's bad for the environment when there are when there are devices that we use every day that use much more electricity and much more power, i.e., air conditioning, washing machines, etc. Michael Saylor saying the Bitcoin industry will grow 100x in the next decade with mainstream institutional adoption. And again, if you look at Bitcoin from a 10-year return perspective, it's giving you some juicy gains. Respective to gold, gold is only up 6.9% on a 10-year return. That's not to say this won't go up more as inflation kicks in. Uh, Meanwhile, Bitcoin has had 125,239% 10-year return. Pretty crazy. Again, that's roughly a 20x of what Tesla has done in 10 years. So just think of how crazy that is. Bitcoin miners balance just reached a 14-month low of 1 million eight sorry, yeah, 1,818,816.913 Bitcoin. Now the last time this was observed was just about a week ago. Um, so nothing too crazy, but basically what we're trying to get out of this is essentially, or what we're getting out of this is that Bitcoin is currently in a downtrend, and to cover costs for um, mining Bitcoin miners are having to sell their Bitcoin to cover for costs. So typically, this is not really much a bullish indicator or signal. If anything, it's kind of bearish signal that Bitcoin miners aren't holding onto the coins. It's not necessarily a good thing. We're seeing a larger outflow of Bitcoin than inflows, essentially. CTO Larson discusses that Grayscale discount people willing to sell their Grayscale position at 8,780 per Bitcoin. Exactly. Like, why are people selling their Bitcoin for nearly 50% off? Like, what gives? Again, are these people really desperate for the money? Are they over leveraged? Is it just paper Bitcoin? I don't know. Not a good look though. And again, kind of this narrative that Bitcoin is in a downtrend, so we're seeing more outflows and inflows. Paper Bitcoin is holding down the USD denominated price in the short term. People are selling Bitcoin that doesn't exist on chain. Once Crypto.com, Nexo, KuCoin, Binance, and other fractional reserve platforms fail, this overhang will lift and Bitcoin will find its true market price. Yeah, I think Bitcoin's price is being held down quite a bit right now with all the paper Bitcoin floating around on exchanges. Just read FFTT by Luke. All the pieces are in place. The system is so close to blowing a gasket. When it does, the global printathon is going to change the world as we know. Be in a position or you won't. Grab a chair, i.e., gold, silver, Bitcoin, before the music stops. CEO of Bitcoin exchange Paxful to send weekly emails to users telling them to take their Bitcoin off exchanges, including Paxful. Very cool to see that the CEO of Paxful is sending its users weekly reminders that they need to get in the habit of taking their Bitcoin off exchanges, especially considering all the collapses we've seen in the crypto space this year between FTX, um, what was it? Terra Luna, Celsius, Voyager, etc. Here we have Alexander Lorenzo saying, warning the market is going to fall dramatically. Here's what I'm going to do to make money. The upcoming Fed meeting is expected to have negative impact on risk on assets. While they may slow the pace of rate hikes, they're likely to remain hawkish and not dovish. This, combined with other factors such as Apple missing quarter 4 earnings, regulation, lack of liquidity, China's zero COVID policy, and hawkish federal policy, it's likely to cause a drop in the value of assets. Here we have Elon Musk, owner of Twitter now, saying if the Fed raises rates again next week, the recession will be greatly amplified. Musk believing the economy will ultimately improve in the second quarter of 2024. So are we in for roughly a year and a half's worth of pain before things get better? Time will tell. Stablecoin USDD loses peg and is now trading at 97 cents. Not good to see another stablecoin being depegged. Could this spell trouble for other crypto exchange platforms like Binance, Bybit, etc.? I don't know. Time will tell. Do Kwon, i.e., the founder of Terra Luna, is in Serbia. South Korean authorities have confirmed. Why are you on the run? If you have nothing to hide, just come talk. Make the case that you're innocent or whatever. Breaking news: the FTX scandal continues. Turns out that the block, a leading crypto news outlet, has been secretly funded by money funneled to its CEO from SBF's trading firm Alameda Research. This raises questions about journalistic integrity and credibility since more and more news outlets are being outed for receiving funds from sources they still report on. The now former CEO of Block, Michael McCaffrey, decided to step down after evidence revealed that he accepted three different multi-million dollar loans from Alameda over the course of a year. One of the loans McCaffrey received from Alameda in the spring of 2022 was valued at $16 million, was used to partly finance the purchase of the CEO's apartment in the Bahamas. Oh, how lovely. Not only was McCaffrey receiving millions of worth of funding from Alameda over the course of a year, but the funding wasn't even entirely invested in the block, instead used to fund the CEO's personal expenses. Jesus Christ. The shit gets better and better every day. Details are being investigated as to what other funds from Alameda were received and what the funding was truly used for. In the meantime, the new CEO of the block will be Bobby Moran, who was a former chief revenue officer at the company. Pardon me, guys. Still trying to get over this cold. Moran claimed to be outraged that McCaffrey didn't disclose his close financial partnership with SBF and Alameda. So now Moran plans to restructure the block, buy out McCaffrey's stake in the company, and continue to publish under full transparency to earn back their credibility. Be mindful of what sources you trust. Exactly. Follow the money, essentially. Customer funds from Genesis Block were processed and received through Alameda. According to Crypto Slate, it keeps getting worse. Further the rabbit hole, further down the rabbit hole we go. When we're finding out about SBF secretly gave the crypto news site The Block $27 million in funding. As we discussed, CEO used $16 million to buy property in the Bahamas. He's now resigned. Again, kind of like this thread that we went through. Not good. FTX founder hopes to start new business to pay back FTX victims, saying he did not commit fraud. Like, my goodness, dude. How how disassociated from reality are you? I just can't believe that Sam Bankman-Fried is doubling down the way he has with this whole, "Oh, I'm innocent. I didn't do anything wrong. I was just, doing my thing." It's like, we don't believe you, dude. We know who exactly the people you're associated with, that they're going to protect you, they're going to fight tooth and nail for you. That's why you keep pushing this narrative that you're innocent. You just made simply a few mistakes. It's like, no, dude, you knew exactly what you're doing. You're grade A piece of shit who stole billions of dollars from customers. Congrats. You're grade A piece of shit in the crypto space and in the broader market too. Oh, sorry, rant over. People calling for Binance insolvency. Do you even realize if that happened, you may as well leave the industry? Crypto would be absolutely finished. I wholeheartedly disagree, McKenna. I think people should be calling for the insolvency of these crypto exchanges that are over leveraged. Uh, Certain exchanges like Binance have said suspicious things in the past. We're going to go over that here in a moment. But we need to question everybody, you guys. Is the future essentially peer to peer transactions? Because it's starting to look that way, and more we're seeing the collapse of these crypto platforms and exchanges. Wonder if there's going to be a peer-to-peer exchange or network we can use. Not trying to fearmonger, but it has to be said. If you have assets on Binance or Binance US, take them all off now. Don't wait. Also, if you're holding BUSD, you should sell that immediately. It's coming from a guy that lost a ton on FTX because I misjudged the exact same setup. Yeah, I agree. I learned my lesson from Celsius and Voyager, so I saw the writing on the wall with FTX when FUD was coming out, and as a result, because I didn't want to get burned again, I took my money off that exchange, and within a few days, we saw the collapse happen. So I feel very sorry for any of you if you've lost any money on FTX or such, but I will not be making the same thing on. I won't be making the same mistake on Binance US. I do have a little crypto on there, but very very small amount. Uh, in proportion to the rest of my portfolio. Dylan Leclerc points this out in one of the November 10 messages to the group. Mr. Zhao or CZ pointed out a 250,000 trade by Alameda that he said was intended to destabilize Tether. The trade was visible on the blockchain, a public ledger of cryptocurrency transactions that anyone can view. In response to CZ's accusations, SBF seemed nonplussed. Huh? He said, what am I doing to stablecoins? Are you claiming that you think $250,000 worth of USDT trading could depeg it? He added, using a common shorthand to refer to the Tether currency. CZ responded that he didn't think a trade of that size would succeed in destroying Tether, that it could still cause problems. Now, why is that? Why does $250,000 worth trade of Tether? Um, how could that possibly cause problems? You're one of the biggest exchanges in the world, if not probably the biggest. What gives, CZ? Are you hiding something? U.S. prosecutors consider charging Binance and executives for possible money laundering, sanctions violations. Sources, according to Reuters, this is pretty crazy. Again, is there more to be said about this? I don't know, but personally, I maybe even scaling back my positions on Binance after reading something like this. Um, Here we have Kathy Wood talking about the Bitcoin blockchain didn't skip a beat during the crisis caused by the opaque centralized players, i.e., FTX, Celsius, etc. No wonder SBF didn't like Bitcoin. It's transparent, decentralized, can control it. Heidi, Heidi at Blockchain Chick says very true, but the more important question here is why are you still a member of the World Economic Forum? I don't understand how anyone part of that organization could be for anything decentralized. Yeah, and as we discussed, as much as people like to shill Ethereum is all for the OFAC. So essentially, 51% of the validators agree to censor a particular idea um, or protocol on the blockchain. Well, thanks to OFAC, that they can get that done. And Ethereum's very very pro censorship. Um, like other protocols, they do have um, connections to the World Economic Forum, so you have to be careful about what you're investing. You guys, this could become fiat 2.0 if we're not careful. So again, be careful where you're putting your money. Cryptocurrency transactions over 1 million euros will face due diligence and queries in the EU for your protection, of course. That's, of course, what they always lead with, but it's for your protection. Load of horse shit, pardon me. EU is trying to ban cash transactions over £10,000 or 10,000 euros, pardon me, and allow member states to impose lower limits if they wish. How crazy is that, you guys? Like, imagine they're trying to eliminate cash slowly but surely. Like, I'm sure we're gonna see some countries take this number and maybe they'll cut out a zero. Maybe some countries will have this or cut it in half. Maybe you can only do up to $5,000 in cash transactions. Maybe you can only do 2,500. Like this is the future we're headed towards, you guys. So be careful. China revealing digital yuan or their CBDC has an expiry date where people are forced to spend and not allowed to save. CBDCs are slavery. Bitcoin is freedom. So China is experimenting with digital money with an expiration date, meaning that citizens will be forced to spend and not save. Digital yuan could usher in an era of total population control as people who aren't allowed to save money will be more dependent on the government. And that's what they want. That's the whole agenda behind the CBDC movement. They want to eliminate cash. They want to have digital government notes that have an expiration date that you can't save, that can only be used on certain goods, products, and services, and everything's tracked. You know, USDC stablecoin, for example, is possibly going to become the CBDC of choice here in the United States, and subsequently the world's reserve currency. Be careful holding it over the next 5 years. Yeah, I'm not. I don't own any USDC to be honest, so be careful, you guys, with what you're throwing your money at. I'll leave you guys with this quote from Dylan LeClaire from a recent podcast. Um, Dylan LeClaire says, "From a mathematical perspective, I cannot trust government currencies over the long run. If you run the numbers, doesn't compute. Debt to GDP at a federal level is 120%, and global debt to GDP is 400%. The promises they're telling you, whether it's Social Security or that inflation is transitory, it's all lies, whether it's incompetence or malice. These people are lying to you." I'm going to have to check out this podcast. What about you guys? If you guys enjoyed today's video, found an educational, entertaining, any of the above, please like and subscribe, hit notification bell to be notified when we go live next. I will see you guys later today, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, for a general news coverage story. Here on Mondays at Token D Rock YouTube channel, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently, considering there's so much stuff that comes out over the course of the weekend, i.e., Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's too much news to cover, so to make it so where you guys don't have to sit and watch a whole hour long stream, we're going to split into two parts, just like we did today. 9:15 a.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to do the regular crypto stream like we just did right now. And then at 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to do a live stream about general news and stuff like that. So we're going to talk about Twitter files, part 2, 3, and potentially 4, and some other stuff. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you guys later today, 3:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Until then,